it also depends on the demographic. So, for example, I'm aware now that Africa is still big on marriage. Again, I'm not sure of South Africa, every part of Africa, but I do know West Africa, East Africa. Most parts of Africa are still big on if you're not married by 24, 25, 26, 27, what's wrong with you? You need deliverance. Like, I know that's still a thing. It may be changing slightly, TikTok taking over the world, but that's generally been a thing as far as I know. In the West, it's not so much like that. Over here, literally, parents be telling you, no, you're too young to get married. Wait until you're 30. Wait until you finished your life. Wait until your ovaries are all, your eggs are all finished. And stuff. So it's the opposite extreme. And so in Africa now, where this is a thing, I would say, is Brazil like that? Brazil's pretty much like that. To be honest, this is how women just operate naturally. So in countries where women still operate in their natural nature, there's an obsession towards marriage. This is a reality. In the Bible, the girl that was killed by her father, right, as a sacrifice, before she was killed, she lamented 40 days in the wilderness to lament the fact that she would never be married. You see, so marriage was a big thing when David's daughter was raped by her brother. She cried for the fact that she's not a virgin anymore. You see, so even not being a virgin, it would leave you destitute. Today, men are looking for porn stars, so no one really cares. Um, so this natural nature of women can influence a sinful obsession. I'll call it a sinful obsession because even though nature to want to be with a man is natural, the sinful part is when this your idol, it becomes your idol to get married. So I would definitely link it to the cultural trend in Africa, whereby, okay, I'm Christian now. The next thing is marriage. As a matter of fact, I've heard people, Christians, many say the best day of their life, and it's like that's very dusty. You're born again should have been the best day of your life. You understand? Not your marriage. That should be second, perhaps, but your born again should be first. And so there is this inward pushing and prevailing of the need to be married, especially as a Christian woman. Otherwise, you feel like you're barren. You feel like something is wrong with you. I just had Prophet Lovey, who's a false prophet and a fake teacher, um, because I just studied a little bit of him today to come to that conclusion, even though I already came to it. I just wanted to clarify it. And he says marriage is an upgrade. He says marriage is for people that are upgraded. And it's like, yeah, not really, because Apostle Paul says marry if you can't control yourself. So it doesn't sound like an upgrade. So, anyways, false teaching. But you see, people like him doing the same thing. He's been divorced and now he's remarried, also claiming to be the best prophet in the world who hears from God on every matter and all the rest of it. Being an example, he's now on, I just saw him on Nick Cannon's show. He's on Nick Cannon being interviewed about what's it like to hear the voice of God. So he's obviously trending now. And one of his sermons is saying that we need to be married to be upgraded. And it's just, and I have heard other ministers say that as if your partner is going to bring out the best in you. And I think some cases it can, but not for everyone as well. There's an obsessive desire towards marriage from women, particularly in more traditional countries, where something is wrong with you if you can't find a husband. So there becomes this desperatism to make a husband. That's what I would say in terms of them generally just putting it out there, Christian and single, and it is desperate, like I said. To Tasha's comment as well, it's a desperate nature to it. But again, I'm not demonizing women for being desperate. Biblical women were desperate too. Women in the Bible were desperate. Leah was desperate. Everyone was kind of desperate, So I'm not going to demonize the desperatism. At the same time, when we're born again, we should know better and not be completely controlled by those emotions. There's an inward desperate desire of these women to be seen, to be marketable, right? And that's why women post. That's why women put profile pictures. That's why women change them. There's always this marketing going on of trying to display themselves for any potential opportunities, and even sometimes married women do it themselves, and it's a mystery, but it's one of those mysteries. Women still in marriage sometimes desire, or a lot of the time desire, just general attention from men, even if they would never step out on the husband. It's just the fact, the idea of being desirable is always good for a woman in her feelings, right? So there's that obsessive need and feeling like, the prophets are telling them you're blessed if God brings you your helper, your partner is coming in the clouds and on a horse, and you're blessed. So when you're then, it's just like the prosperity gospel, and then it leaves everyone that doesn't have riches to feel cursed. So people that are not married feel cursed. And so yes, so so then if you're desperate and you believe this is a core part of being a Christian, to be married as a woman, you have to be married, then you're gonna market yourself and you're gonna come across desperate. You're gonna market yourself, you're gonna put yourself out there continually and literally start dating and doing all the rest of the trash that we do, and it's gonna be dating and dating and dating, which is emotional fornication, and I'll call that again, emotional fornication. Emotional penetration is dating for a woman. So the more she's dated, even if she ain't had no penises in her thing, um, I sometimes forget that there's people in this room that I prefer to talk different in front of. Just because she hasn't had any intimacy, um, there she's emotionally defiling herself by sitting there eating dinner with a bunch of demons. Okay, I'm gonna make a whole message about this soon because people think dating is cool. Oh, I'm not having sex. You're demonizing your soul with these men sitting at a dinner table, fellowshipping with unbelievers, fellowshipping with these wicked men that don't even love God and are not called. And you're sitting there saying it's okay because we're not having sex. These times, dating is better than sex for women more time because women aren't even into sex like that. They're into the dating experience and the fantasy. How many fantasies have you had with how many men? So don't just pride yourself in being a virgin, right? Because if you're a virgin, you could be an emotional whore tied to so many different men that you've dated and given your feelings to. Okay. So I'm going to start measuring a man's desire to put his penis everywhere to a woman's desire to go on dates with many different men. It's pretty much the same. It's pretty much the same. But that's a whole nother conversation. There's a desperate nature for a woman to be married. And in the West, I'm not sure what that is over here, because over here, like I said, it's not as women are not as driven towards marriage. My niece, who's 23, I speak to her, she says she wants to be married, and she says all her friends think she's crazy. So all her friends her age think she's crazy. They're like, "What do you mean you want to get married? Like, no one gets married anymore. That's old school. Like, it's old fashioned over here to get married. No one cares about that anymore. Just put penises inside. You don't need the marriage that comes with it. You just have a baby and or have an abortion and one or the other, but you don't demand. That's literally women just need sperm banks today. Just get a bank, get some sperm. That's all is necessary. No one cares about marriage. Women do want children, however, they don't really want the man. So again, sperm bank donations, and then you just have the child. So it's a bit different over here. I'm not sure how I'd answer it, but that might be a whole nother message in terms of the UK women, because they still naturally all women want to be desired, but they go about it in a different way over here. Over here, they'll most probably make an OnlyFans account or something. Or as a Christian woman, probably just again market themselves in a way, not necessarily for marriage, but at least for potential fornication.